Hello students. So today we are going to see about generations of computer. In last video we had seen about what? We had seen about early age calculators. Now today we are going to see about generations of computer. There are main five generations of computer. See, first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation and fifth generation. At this present time, fifth generation of computer is going on. Now you will get a question, what is meant by generation? See, generation is usually a period of time. For example, we can say 20 to 30 years, like our grandpas, their generation is separate. Our parents, their generation is separate. Our generation is separate, like that. For example, you can say like our mom that usually says that this new generation is a Gen Z generation, or this new generation is too clever, smart. And generation means a period of time of, we can say, about 20 to 30 years, we can say. Now today we are going to see five generations of computer. First generation of computer, let's start from room size to pocket size, means as here you can say a demo for you. First generation computers like this, second, third, fourth, and we can say these two we can include in fifth generation. Evolution of technology through time. How as per the time the computers got evolved from size, its speed, capability, everything, processing speed, we will see in detail now. First, what are computer generation? Computer evolve in different stages is called as generation. Each generation introduce new technology, means like as you see nowadays all new technologies are getting evolved, every feature is getting new advanced technologies, like that. First, what? Smaller in size. Second, fast in speed. Third, easier to use, more powerful and cheaper. These are new technologies invented as per the new generation got introduced. There are five main generation as I told you now. So now let's start with our first generation. First generation was invented, means what was the period of that particular generation? The period was from 1940 to 1950, means 10-year of period was for first generation. Main technology. What was the main technology? Vacuum tubes. Just class, close your eyes. I will tell you one interesting. Just imagine there is a huge computer, as per we can say our room or more than a room, as a function hall, great, like that. People are coming inside a computer, they are changing the parts of a computer, they are operating. This much huge was the first computer, and it was the reality. First computer were seriously that much huge in size, and they use a sort main technology. Main technology means what was the basic part of that technology which changed? That was vacuum tubes. Now very big in size, took up at entire room, like I say. Use vacuum tube to control electricity, means it was the main electrical part, we can say electronic part of that computer. And they use magnetic drums and magnetic tapes for memory. At that time there were not like memory cards or hard drive. At that time what was there? Magnetic drums and magnetic tapes used as a memory. I will show you further the images of everything. Then afterwards they were very slow, processing data in how much? In millisecond. Millisecond means 1,000 parts of a second is called as millisecond. Still it is, you we can imagine how fast it was. Still it was slow, because nowadays computer can go in nanosecond or less than a nanosecond also. So the processing part is millisecond. See, for examination you need to just understand main part, what was the size, what was the main part, size, then memory, then speed, and input and output, nothing else. And last one is limitation. Now we will continue. Use a lot of electricity and get very hot. See, at that time, you know that vacuum tube, I will show you the images, but just for now just imagine, you know, electric bulb. that yellow color electric bulb. Same like that, the vacuum tubes were there, huge in size, and what happened? They occupy large amount of energy, means electricity. So continuous flow of electricity get it heated, and because of that heated, it get burst or got damages. So uses a lot electricity. Programming was done using machine language. Do you know what is machine language? We can say second name for machine language is binary language, which uses only 0 and 1. Binary language 0 and 1. It uses that language. Then input. For input they use punched cards, and for output they use paper tapes. Require constant maintenance and broke down often. As I said, because of excess heat that vacuum tubes were getting burst, that's why it requires constant maintenance and broke down often. See what were the examples: ENAC, EDVAC, UNIVAC, IBM 650 and IBM 701. These are the examples of first generation of computer. What were the limitation of this computer? They were slow in processing. How slow? As we see in millisecond. Expensive to build and run. At that time, not much means we can say electronic gadgets were there. So companies who prepared this were so small, and new technology was there, so it was expensive. Prone to fail and overheat, as I told you, because of excess heat. Everyone clear about this first generation? See this. This is the image of first generation computer. Which computer? ENIAC. What is the full form of ENIAC? Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. See how much. This is one human, second, third, and how huge it is. More than a big room, for we can say a function hall like that. This much big was the first generation of computer, and many people were not a single. It was not a cup of tea of a single man to use. It uses, sorry, it requires minimum 3 or 4 people to use that computer, and it uses in machine learning. See, you see the small lines. These are none other than, see here, vacuum tubes, small vacuum tubes. But there are different types of vacuum tube, big, small. But this generation, this computer, specific computer uses this small types of operating system. Here you can see these are memories. See, this is vacuum tube. These are different type of vacuum tube. You can imagine the different size of that vacuum tubes. These are all vacuum tubes. See, magnetic drum. This is the size of magnetic drum. Now you can imagine how big the memory card is, then how big the computer was, like that. This was magnetic drum. This is a proper color image of that magnetic drum, which was used as a memory card in first generation. These are magnetic tapes. I think most of you have seen this in a radio, we can say. A radio we uses. Otherwise, another example of magnetic tape is old age cameras, where you see the black print like this only. These are also called as magnetic tapes. These are punched cards as input method. They were using as input. These are paper tapes. These are both. These are punched cards and these are paper tapes. Now let's begin with second generation. Second generation was started from 1950 to 1960. First generation period was of 10 years. Same second generation period was of also 10 years. But here main technology got a replace. What here came? Transistors. Transistor replaced vacuum tube. Why? Because the transistors are smaller and more reliable. Reliable means we can trust that it will not get burst or it will not get corrupt. It will help us, otherwise we can say support us in our processing. So in second generation, vacuum tubes got replaced with transistors. See, faster than first generation, work in microsecond. First generation was working in milliseconds. Now it is working in microsecond. Generate less heat. Why generate less heat? Because transistor don't get that much heat. How much? That vacuum tubes were getting heat. Transistor produce less heat. Then magnetic core memory was introduced. New type of memory was there. Now no memory magnetic drum or tapes were used. What they use? Magnetic core memory. And for input, the same. Still used a punched card for input and magnetic tapes for output. And which language now they use? Use assembly language, easier than machine language. Assembly language is what uh, you will get to know in short when you will learn Java. See, first, for example, Java is high level programming language. Then high level programming language convert into assembly language, and then assembly language is convert into machine language, like this. So they uses assembly language, which is easier than machine language. What are the examples of second generation? IBM 790, UNIVAC 1107, RCA 501. What were the limitations? Still require cooling system. Means it was producing less heat, but it is not like that. We don't require now air condition. We still require air conditions. Speed was better, but not very high. See, speed was better, but not very high. Input devices are still old, punched cards. No input device were, we can say, invented. See, this is second generation. You see this plate-like structure, card-like. These all are transistors at that time. Now transistor size has been reduced to small. See, this is the image of second generation of computer transistor. These all are called as different type of transistor. You have seen this in, for example, a remote car or any electronic vastu. In any electronic gadget, you will see these small transistors of different size, shape, and color. Why different size, shape, color? Because the functionality of every transistor is different to identify that particular transistor. For example, this transistor work on display, this work on sound. I am telling you an example just. So how will you get to know which transition do which word? So that's why they have different size, shape, and color. See, this is a zoom image of the magnetic core. Why it is called as magnetic core? You can see this. These are magnets and it is connected with a wire, core wire. So it is called as magnetic core. Now this is zoom out image of that same magnetic core. Here you can see these small are all magnets covered inside the wire, and this is all a total memory, all like the small see, these all are memory put down into a big memory and converted into a magnetic core. Class understood till now? Now we will go with third generation of computer. What was the period of third generation of computer? Same, 10 years, 1960 to 1970. First was from 1940 to 1950. Second, 1950 to 1960. And third, 1960 to 1970. Now, what was the main technology used in this integrated circuit? We can say ICs. This was. Now, in first, vacuum tube was used. In second, transistor repressed vacuum tubes. And in third, integrated circuit repressed transistor. See, IC could hold many transistors on a small chips, made computers smaller and cheaper. Why they replace? Because see, ICs are more powerful than transistor. Why? Because they are smaller, cheaper, and IC could hold many transistors. What a transistor can do, it can perform many tasks, many multiple tasks than transistor. So much powerful are ICs, very reliable and fast. See, transistor very reliable, but now integrated circuits are more reliable than transistor. Now see, before this generation, third generation, in first generation and second generation, there were not keyboard and mouse. What they use? Paper cards as input. But now in third generation, they use keyboard and mouse as input and monitor and printer as output. See, and afterwards, now they use this, as I told you the Java example. First, high level programming language convert into assembly language, and then assembly language is converted into machine language. So like this, they uses high level programming languages. What are those examples? Basic, COBOL and Fortran. These are the examples of high level languages at that time, and had magnetic disk and tapes for better storage. Performance of speed improved a lot. Now it work in nanosecond. First generation work in millisecond, second in microsecond, and now third in nanoseconds. See, what are examples? IBM 360, UNIVAC 1108, PDP 11. These are the examples of third generation. What were the now limitations? ICs were expensive to make. Then computers still need air conditioning. See, the heat problem is not totally yet solved. It is getting decreased, or we can say reducing. These products are making heat, but at a small amount, not like that they are not producing any heat. See, this is integrated circuit, or otherwise you can say ICs also. You see these small parts, these are none other than transistors. See, many transistor can fit into a IC. See, this is the image of third generation of computer. Now fourth generation. What was the period of fourth generation? 1970 to 2010. See student, here I will give you a trick to remember. See, first was from 1940 to 1950, 10 year, right? Second from 1960 to 1970, correct? Third from, sorry, 40 to 50, then 50 to 60, and now 70 to how much? 2010. So how many? Fourth was for 40 year. You should remember that. First one for 10 year, second one also 10 year, third one also 10 year, but fourth is for 40 year. How much year? 40 year. Like this way you can remember that. Main technology. What was the main technology? Microprocessors and VLSI. What is the full form of VLSI? Very large scale integration. See, a microprocessor is a small chip that acts as brain of the computer. What? Microprocessor are called as brain of a computer. Thousands of IC could fit into one VLSI, as we say. Many transistors can fit into one IC, but here what they say, thousands of IC could fit into one VLSI. Means you can just imagine how fast the speed of one VLSI could be. Computer became smaller, cheaper and more powerful. Why they get smaller? Because you can see now thousand of IC can fit into one chip. And how big is this chip? For example, we can say our nail size, thumb size. This much big is only VLSI. That's why it is getting smaller, cheaper and more powerful. Personal computers were invented. As we see, my PC. What is the full form of PC? Personal computer is the full form of PC. See what happened in first generation. First generation were few computers, only big for we can say government or university or scientists uses that. Second also same. third associate. But after fourth generation, or we can say from fourth generation, people, common people like us, they were using this computer. So that's why personal computers were introduced. Used a modern programming languages. Now modern programming languages. Which modern programming languages? Python, Java, and C Sharp are the examples of programming. Operating system like Windows, Unix, MS-DOS were introduced. What is meant by operating system? Operating system is a system which operate our computer to function with different input devices and output devices. That's why it is called as operating system. Start of computer network and the internet. Before fourth generation, there were no computer networks or the internet. After, as we see, what we can say, necessary is necessity is the mother of invention, like that. After computer developed, now then the human think, let's we need internet, and then afterward creating a internet, how we can connect that internet with other people, then computer networks and internet were what we can say invented. What are the examples of fourth generation? IBM PCs, Apple Macintosh. Limitations: need skilled people to manufacture microchip because it was very difficult. How small it is, as we say. Still, India is not developing like this type of chip. Which country is developing? China, you can say. Because why? There are skilled people who can develop the small chips. Many mobile companies or electronic companies are still their main hub are in China. Computers could get viruses due to internet use. See, as we say, everything has advantages and disadvantages. So what were the advantages? We can connect with people, we can solve many problems. Computer make human life easy. But now what are the issues? They get viruses due to internet. See, this is a image of ULSI, full form very large scale integration. See how small the chip is. It could hold many transistors. You see this small dot, we can say like that, these all are small ICs. See how many ICs could can fit into one VLSI. This is another image. This is symbol of Python, this is Java symbol, and this is C Sharp symbol. These are all programming languages. Now our last generation, which is fifth generation, and fifth generation time is from 2010 to present. It is still going on. What is main technology? ULSI, full form very large scale integration, and second thing is AI, artificial intelligence, and last one is parallel processing. What is mean by parallel processing? Parallel processing means multiple functions or multiple processing done at a single time, means it called as parallel processing. For example, if sir assign a student a task to write 10 pages, if the student is getting 10 minutes to write the 10 pages, means 1 minute a page. But for example, sir assigned two students to do that same work. How much time will they take? 5 minutes, correct? Because one student will write 5 pages, another student will write 5 pages. 5 minutes. But for example, if now teacher assign 5 students to do the same work, how many minutes they will take? Only 2 minutes. Why? Because 5 students will write only 2 pages, 2 minutes, work done. So what happened? What we learn from this? When we do parallel processing or multiple processors work on a single function, then it reduces time and it gives us the result very fast. So that's why parallel processing. See, ULSI, millions of parts on one chip. How many parts? Million. Million means 1 million is equal to 10 lakh, right? 1 million is equal to 10 lakh, means 10 lakh small parts of chip are included into a one ULSI. Use of artificial intelligence. Computer can think, learn and solve programs, right? Nowadays we can see AI, how much AI is getting advanced. Our Siri, Hey Google, otherwise ChatGPT. These are all types of AI. Can understand natural language like English, not just code. Now, before, still, if you want to talk with any computer or thing, we can type English, but it don't get understand. Why? Because English language is converted into high level languages, high level language converted into assembly language, and assembly language is converted into machine language, and that machine language only computer understand. This is a hidden step. But nowadays, if we speak in English also, they get understand. Parallel processing. Many processors work together at once. As I gave you the example, parallel processing means many processors working together. Use of touchscreen, voice and stylus as input for input method. Now, as we see, as per the generation, the input methods are getting changed. Now, time all laptops are also getting screen touch. Mobile are already now screen touch. Voice, for example, Siri, Google, Alexa, voice, and stylus means stylus pen. For example, which pen I am using, it is called as a stylus. These are all type of input devices. For example, see, whenever I am drawing, it is giving me output, right? So I am inputting my first, and then the computer is processing on that and giving output. And you can see, as I type, see, it is giving me result in less than micro nanosecond also, right? As I am touching the screen, it is showing me the result. Now you can imagine how fast the computers, or we can say electronic gadgets, are there. Computers are very fast, portable, and powerful. See, they are now, as I told you, they are becoming very fast, portable. Means, as you can see, the first generation was as huge as a room. Second generation was also as huge, but not as a room, but still, it was very much huge. Third generation also. Nowadays, we can say our computers, they are also huge. We can't portrait them, but what we can portable are, for example, tablet, correct? Tab are portable, laptop, mobile. These are all type of portable items, and they are powerful. As we know that how powerful our smartphones are there, they are as powerful as our computer. See, as I given, smartphones, tablets, robot, and voice assistants are common. Smartphone, everyone uses smartphone. Maximum people use tablets, and robot. Many companies are using robot, right? They are not now human labors. Everywhere robots are there, and voice assistants, as we see in our four-wheeler cars, we use Siri, play a song, otherwise Alexa, play a song. Voice assistant is everywhere nowadays. It is are common nowadays. See, examples are smartphone. As I say, Siri, Alexa, Asimo. What is Asimo? Asimo is the first robot that human ever made. That is called, his name is Asimo. What are the limitations? Complex to understand and use for some people. See, complex to understand and use for some people. Which are these some people? Our we can say our grandparents, right? Because they are old in generation, older than us. For example, we are present generation. Our old generation is our parents, and our parents. So it is, we can say, third generation type. So they are not getting this every electronic thing understanding. It is complex to understand from them and use also. They prefer mostly button mobiles. Otherwise, they say, I don't want to use this screen touch mobile. Give me button mobile. Then privacy issue due to internet and data sharing. Privacy issue means, now as we can see on Facebook, Instagram, everyone is posting their photos. Is there any privacy? No. Anyone can misuse our photo. They can do anything with our photos. Data privacy. Nowadays hackers are stealing someone's data, right? Like that. People become too dependent on technology. Nowadays people are not doing anything by their own. For example, nowadays, that Alexa, please turn off light. Alexa, please turn on fan. Humans are not just getting up. and putting the fan button. They are just saying or giving commands to the computer. That's why what's happening. People are getting lazy to become and independent. Now see, that's this is the image of ULSI. It is the same size as VLSI. Nothing changed. But as a period, they are getting smaller. See, here you can see difference between see this much. Example, LSI. LSI means large scale integration. VLSI very large scale integration, and ULSI ultra large scale integration. Here you can see the differences. For your understanding, I had created the generations of computer. In first generation, vacuum tube. Second generation, transistor. Third generation, integrated circuit. Fourth generation, VLSI. Fifth generation, ULSI. They can ask you in exam. See, summary table. Whatever we learn now, I will show you in short period. First generation vacuum tubes, size very large, speed millisecond. Input devices, punched cards. Example, Univac and Univac 1. Second generation, what they use? Transistors, size large, speed microsecond. Input devices, punch cards and tapes, magnetic tapes we can say. Example, IBM 7090. Third generation, integrated circuit we can say ICs also. Size medium, speed nanosecond. Input devices, keyboard and mouse. Example, IBM 360, PDP-11. Fourth generation, microprocessor. Size small. Speed picosecond. Less than nanosecond is picosecond. Then keyboard and mouse, same input devices. IBM PC and Apple Macintosh. In fourth generation, they were PC invented, personal computer and operating system. Which operating system? Windows, MS-DOS and Apple Macintosh. Fifth generation, AI, ULSI and parallel processing. Size very small. Speed super fast. Input devices, touchscreen, voice. Example, Siri, Alexa, Asim. Done class? Now whatever you had seen now, we will take a small quiz. You need to how to first after you seeing pause the screen or mark your question. Mark your answer. What is which technology was used in first generation of computer? Which technology? Vacuum tubes. Which generation introduced personal computer means PC? Which generation introduced this PC? Fourth generation. How many of you got the correct answer? You can pause the video and give your answer. What is used in fifth generation of processing? What they use in fifth generation of processing? Artificial intelligence, AI. Which generation uses integrated circuit? Which first uses vacuum tube, second uses transistor, and now third uses integrated circuit. Correct? Now question. What programming language was used in first generation? Which programming languages? We can say machine language, otherwise binary language. Correct? Name. Then name one input devices used in fifth generation. Which input devices? Touchscreen, voice, right? Touchscreen, voice, we can say. Which generation introduced microprocessor? Which generation includes microprocessor? Third generation, right? What does ULSI stand for? Full form of ULSI is what? Ultra large scale integration, right? Is the full form of ULSI. See, ultra large scale, fourth generation, touch and voice, machine language, 0 or 1. Otherwise, you can say also binary language. True or false? ENIAC was a third generation computer. It is correct, true or false? No, it is false. ENIAC is first generation of computer. Fifth generation computer use voice and stylus as input. It is right? Yes, it is right. Fifth generation uses voice and stylus. This is also true. Transistors were used in first generation. Is it true or false? It is false. Why? In first generation, vacuum tubes were used. IC help make computers smaller and faster. Yes, IC make why? Because it reduce more size than transistor. See, false, true, true. Now fill in the blanks. First generation computer uses data tube. Which tube? Vacuum tubes. Right? The second generation replaced vacuum tubes with whom? Transistor. IC we are using which generation? In third generation. Computer with AI and represent are part of with fifth generation. Dash is a humanoid robot, as I told. I mean, a robot that fifth generation robot. Sorry, it is Asimo, not Amido. It is Asimo. First generation vacuum tube, transistor, third generation, fifth generation, and this Asimo. Now, thank you. That's for all today. If anyone is having any query or doubt, you can pin down in comment. I will resolve that. Thank you very much. Have a great day.